Lands Ministry, where the Vice President is making a tour at with the Lands Minister there. We'll go there briefly and then we'll come back.
Environment. We're also working with the Forestry Commission. One of the things we met when we came was that the Forestry Commission's law enforcement, forestry guards were completely on their knees. And so we had to retool them, we had to start motivating them and give them the tools they need. I'm happy that we're making a lot of progress. And I can tell you that the 9 forest reserves have been reclaimed from the red zones. And they are now in the safe zone. Illegal timber, that has been a headache. We are also working to snap that. We've just inaugurated a national timber monitoring team to deal with that. We're also focusing on ecotourism development and promotion, and we are working in walkways, eco-lazing, and bird watching centers. We are also working in other forest areas like the Shahiri Resource and the Kakum and the Mole National Park to increase investment to promote ecotourism. We think that we should get to that point where Ghanaians are excited about traveling our country, visiting these forest reserves. There's huge potential there. So we are working with the Forestry Commission. We are also working on climate change mitigation and adoption, and the world is noticing. I've participated in major conferences last year. I was in Egypt recently on an environmental conference by the UN, and we basically laid out Ghana's view on how we are working on the climate change mitigation measure and sustainability. And the world is hearing it. This year we are getting 20 million on emission reduction payment. And then we are also again going to sign a $30 million US support on climate initiative this year. What it means is that the world is taking notice of the effort we are making. I'm now going to the land subsector. And I think it's also another area. The nightmare. I gave the story that my own house that I lived in for 6 years, I didn't have title. The day it was announced that I was nominated as lands minister, I got a message that my documents, they are working on it fast for me. And it's a true story. It's a true story. Frankly, it is clear that the systems, land administration, providing basic services for the people of Ghana must change. And so we began that journey first to look at what is really the problem at the Lands Commission. What has been the challenge at the Lands Commission. And these are the challenges that were described. And so we began the process of reviewing. One of the things we all heard about was that public lands that government had taken for specific purposes that now belong to government, some of them for agricultural purposes, some of them for different purposes were not used, now becomes government property. And somehow the people who have been given the charge to protect these lands were somehow abusing it. And so His Excellency the President vowed to make sure that we get it right. And I'm happy to tell you that we constituted a team led by my able deputy, and we got cabinet approval to address that in the long term. That it will, by the time we finish, no government official will even cross their mind to take public land. Because we'll publish your name in every newspaper. By the way, the cabinet has approved our recommendation that all public lands that had been sold are going under review to make sure there's value for money, and process audit was done. Those that didn't finish the process are automatically cancelled. And so we are going on to make sure that we implement to the letter the cabinet recommendation to give confidence to the people of Ghana that we are going to protect public lands. We are also working on other series of other recommendations. But one of the exciting good news is that, the Lands Commission has always been struggling with how to digitalize records. You have heard the stories of files missing here. There are very many times that I wanted to get my documents. Sometimes you go there, they say the person who has the document is on a pregnancy leave or something. It has to be digitalized, everything. This year, we are able to make a case, and the government and the president has been strongly in support. The retention of 70% is now given back to the Lands Commission. We are dedicating that to focus in the next 2 years to digitalize all Land Commission steps and services to make sure that you can sit in the comfort of your home and get all the services you need at the Lands Commission. We are also working on land banks. If we are saying that we want investment in agriculture, how do we secure those lands for palm production and for huge cocoa production? We are taking that steps to make sure that when we bring investors, they don't have headaches of where to get the land for palm production. And we are working with the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Agric on that as well. I'm also very happy to tell you that just last year, we made sure that we take a step to decentralize the service of the Lands Commission. We opened 36 offices. This year, our target is that 110 metropolitan and district assemblies will have Land Commission offices at their doorsteps. There's no reason why land administrative services, people should travel far and near to the regional capitals. We are pushing to make sure we decentralize land administration services across the country. We are also working to basically address some of the policies that are old. The National Land Policy, for example, has been in place since 1990. We are working to change that completely. We've initiated a legislative instrument also to operationalize the Land Act, which is very, very critical. In fact, you will see that that Land Act is very critical in the sense that customary land administration and traditional authorities are the key problems when it comes to land. Now, the law says that we should get them to demarcate all their boundaries across the country. How do we get that done? And so we are working with the Lands Commission, especially with the Office of the Stool Land Administrator, to ensure that that is done. And if you look at what the Stool Land Administrator is doing, opening offices and setting up customary land secretariats, so that, for example, when a particular traditional authority has land, or when a family has land, they won't say that, oh, my grandfather threw the boundary here, so it's here. No, it is documented, it is all demarcated, and it's legally recognized. And those are the efforts we are making with the customary land administration to address all of that. We are also maintaining the integrity of Ghana's land and maritime boundary with the Ghana Boundary Commission. The ultimate lessons we learned with our boundary dispute with Côte d'Ivoire is that we must work to ensure that our relationships, our boundary and maritime boundaries with Ghana, Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, Ghana, Nigeria are all secured. And we are making every effort to address that with the Ghana Boundary Commission. We've made a lot of progress. If you look at what we've done last year, we work with them in the Jomoro and Awoyun district to basically identify the pillars to make sure we are all on the same page on where our boundary lines are. And so we are working with them on that. We now go to the big elephant in the room, which is the mining sector. Excellency, we have 3 water systems in Ghana. The Volta Basin, the Southwestern, and the Coastal Basins. The Southwestern Basin is the most impacted. This is where we have the Ankobra, the Pra, the Tano, and the Bear. What you are looking at is the polluted rivers along the Southwestern Basins. And this is what we inherited. Farm machines are taking over all these rivers that basically provide life. Exactly what steps are we going to take to turn these brown rivers into blue? So, Excellency, what we saw there, I wish it's just brown, that's it. But it's worse than that. The turbidity levels of water in Ghana that we drink must be between 0 to 500. We came and the numbers are that the turbidity levels were between 5,000 and 12,000 NTUs. making it impossible to treat these water bodies. Major treatment plants are being shut down because it was just simply impossible to treat this water. And what is worse was that there were traces of metals in some of these water and their health implications, their impact on agriculture, on our cocoa farms. Not be counted. These are pictorial views of some of the challenges giving birth to babies with deformities because of the challenges we face, our cocoa farms and the impact we are having and the risk that poses. And yet law enforcement was also weak. These are the things we heard. In fact, if you look at the statistics there, this was a 2-year statistics. 845 arrests for anti-illegal mining Galamsey, 35 prosecutions. That's 4%. So there was a lot that needed to be done if we were going to turn the tide in this fight. These are the root causes of Galamsey. People are simply not even aware of what the dangers they are putting everybody in. Weak enforcement of mining regulations, and it's a fact. Part of the problem was also the institutions of state that were responsible for making sure these regulations are in place. Issues of unemployment and other corruption, they were all part of the problem, and it compounded the issue of Galamsey. And so our task was very clear. How do we change the story? That is how we began. We decided to take bold 5-pronged approach to tackling this fight against illegal mining. And these are the 5 pillars that we've taken: stakeholder engagement, regulatory reform, strengthening law enforcement, reclamation programs, and providing alternatives. We began with the stakeholder engagement. And the basic notion of this pillar is that we believe that this fight, in the final analysis, is about the heart and mind of every Ghanaian. How do we all sit and understand that we are killing ourselves if we destroy our forests and destroy our water bodies? And we visited in the last 1 year all stakeholders, Parliament. I'm happy that you joined us in some of these engagements as well. I want to thank you so much. And the message was very clear. We are all in this together. We must rise up with our voices and our actions to stop this scourge of illegal mining that is killing us and turn our forests green and turn our waters blue. We continue with stakeholder engagement. This is a picture with parliamentary groups and different stakeholders, civil society, chamber of mines, academia, clergy. We've met all in the spirit of the message that we've given. And I think that message is getting down well. We actively, and this is, and then we also embark on what we call the regulatory reform. I have never shied away with the institutions that are responsible. I told the EPA, I told the Minerals Commission, they are part of the problem. And so we began to basically look at even the licenses, how licenses are issued. I'm happy that we've been able to look at the review of our licenses. As we speak, small-scale licenses, over 255 or so, has been revoked. We continue to review the processes, and those who have not followed the right channels, we give them the opportunity to correct the processes and make sure that the Minerals Commission has the capacity and the systems to be the regulator, the policeman in the sector. We recently just finished another review of large-scale mining companies, and we continue to revoke those we think are wrong. And we have also done something with the policies. As we speak, we have finished with the policy review, in the mining policy review, which was being in place since 2014. I'm happy to say that policy review regulation is coming to cabinet. We have also finished a complete overhaul of the Mining Act, Act 703. And there are key provisions that are going to change the paradigm shift on how we mine. For example, we have introduced what we call district mining committees, because we believe that before people in Accra at the Minerals Commission and EPA give licenses, that authority must start from the district, from the traditional authorities, from the local places where the mining is going to take place. So the district mining committees will make recommendations, and those people who want to mine will not go to the place first time they get a license in Accra. That's the first time they are visiting Elembele. No, you have to be there, meet the stakeholders, get the recommendation, tell us that where you are coming to mine is not close to water body or forest reserve. And when that recommendation comes to the Minerals Commission, that's when a license can be issued. We are changing that completely. We have also introduced new programs on large scale. There's only small scale and large scale. We are now going to introduce what we call the medium scale licensing to basically broaden the scope and give people the capacity to do the right things. We have completely revoked LI 2462. And that's a message that this government is sending to the people of Ghana, that we mean everything we've said. There will be no mining in forest reserves. There will be no mining in water bodies. And that we are all going to fight to keep our waters blue and our forests green. We are also working to strengthen law enforcement. One of the things we've done is to make sure that all the different law enforcement who are all fighting Galamsey are all properly coordinated. So we've set up what we call the NIMOS, National Anti-Illegal Mining Secretariat, and there's a lot of progress we've made with NIMOS. And this is a long list of activities. And this is the good news. For example, in the last few weeks, we handed over 1,300 water pumps that we've seized to the Ministry of Agriculture for farmers. We continue to keep a lot of these things to put in the right places. As we speak, the Forestry Commission, as is in possession, that is excavators, and I'm talking only the Forestry Commission, over 120, 150 excavator that has gone through the court. The process is that it's not enough to seize this. You have to go through the legal process to actually own it. And that is something that we've completed. We are now working to make sure we give it to the right agencies to make sure it's beneficial. We have also, as you will see, introduced a new program that was never in place, which was basically, Excellency, before we came to this ministry, it was free for all for everybody to bring every excavator to Ghana. I mean, what was worse was that the DVLA were not even registering any heavy equipment. Can you believe this? I mean, all these machines, the DVLA didn't have them in their system. But I'm happy working closely with the Ministry of Transport, Finance, Custom Division. We are now collaborating. Today, I can tell you that 1,800 earth-moving mining equipment just in the last 6 months that we started this program have been registered with 1,033 tracking. So we have a tracking system now at the Tema Port. First of all, before you import every heavy equipment, you need to be permitted. And once it lands, we track it. If you tell us you want to take the excavator to Obuasi, we'll put a tracker, and the tracker can only take you to Obuasi. You can't, if you pass anywhere, it will blow off. And then we'll geofence it. We have the tracking room with the Minerals Commission where 1,033 excavators and machines are now being tracked 24 hours a day. So we know their movement. We believe that the goal is that ultimately we are going to have a strict control of every heavy machinery in Ghana, so that we are very sure excavators which are coming in the country are coming for specific purposes. And we are making a lot of progress with that. We are also working on reclamation, which is the fourth pillar. And I've talked about the Tree for Life initiative, and I've talked about the reclamation that we've done. We've made modest progress with some of the river bodies. You will see my lovely initiative, the Blue Water Guards initiative. The Blue Water Initiative is not only to work on decommercializing, but also making sure that we have cadre of dedicated young Ghanaian patriots in the rivering areas to basically stand up for the people of Ghana, protecting our river bodies. That's what we've been working on. And we've made a lot of progress with that as well. My favorite Blue Water Guard. In the first 1 year, we've recruited 1,600 of them. And in about 7 regions, we will continue the effort this year. And they are making a difference. We have to continue to build that capacity of our young people. And these are new initiatives we've brought just in 1 year. And the argument here is that we have to have people in those river areas not only to educate, but also to be able to coordinate as intelligence officers, to alarm the NIMOS and the security agencies what is going on there in their neighborhoods. We have also introduced the alternative. This is a very important program, and every time I talk about concept, I talk about the ARCOMDEP. This is the program that was launched in Obuasi that resulted in the Assad tragedy. And we believe that it is the reason why we can afford to fail. We have to succeed in this fight to make sure that we can mine sustainably and responsibly. And the whole idea is that this government is not against mining. As a matter of fact, mining is the bedrock, is the heartbeat of this country. But the argument is that we must mine responsibly and sustainably. And the argument is that it is possible to do so. And we are saying that how do we organize people in groups, train them better, give them all the tools they need to mine. Now, you can't send gold to places where they don't know the sources. So traceability has become a big program. And we think that working with the Gold Board and others, this cooperative mining program is the key to changing how we mine in Ghana. And we believe that this program is really taking off. And we've already launched some of them. This year is going to be the year of COMSDEP. We believe that we are going to do a lot of cooperative and to change completely the story on illegal mining. I think that we talked about the forestry subsector. So these are the focus of what we want to do in 2016. We'll continue our focus on the Tree for Life initiative and then continue to create additional 1,000 jobs. I didn't even talk about the 2,000 jobs we created with the Forestry Commission with the Forest Youth Champions. We'll complete stakeholder engagements on the legislation and focus on the flood program as well. On the land, digitalization is a big deal this year. How do we change land administration and make sure land services are at the doorsteps of the people of Ghana? We are working to secure additional district offices to make sure land services are at the doorstep of the people in various districts across the country. We are focusing on building new regional offices as well. And then we are also working on the regional office in Accra. I've talked about what we are going to do to change the Land Act in the mining subsector. We want to operationalize the Mining Act. As I've said, we are completely overhauling it, and it's on its way to Cabinet and to Parliament to change those laws with the new things we've brought. COMSDEP will take center stage to make sure we can open cooperative mining. You see, I will be mentioning VACO because I just received VACO. It was not under our sector for some time, but now it's with me. So VACO is now with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. So we are working with them to make sure we have a strategic program to basically transform VACO. VACO is a quiet lion that can change our country. And we are doing some great things, but I like to see it when it happens and then talk about it. But we have big plans for the revival of VACO. We are also working with the Ghana Geological Survey Authority. It is a big agency. And if you want to know why are people mining everywhere, digging everywhere like there's no tomorrow, because they don't know where the gold is. And so if only they know where the gold is, they probably will go straight. So the Ghana Geological Survey is now working. We are working with them to try to identify the mineralized areas. So we can organize the cooperative groups that this is where the gold will stop digging in the water and everywhere. So once we can organize them, so we are working closely with the Ghana Geological Survey, make them active to identify mineralized areas. We are also working with the Attorney General's office on arrest and prosecutions to keep track. We do not want to see the statistics that I showed you. And I think we are making some big progress on those right. In the long term, this is our plan. Ghanaians are to be the forefront of the mining industry. Be leaders, make sure that our resources is not only empowering us, but we are protecting our water bodies and our forest reserve for future generations. I thank you very much.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources giving brief updates on the achievements so far and then the projections for 2026. Excellency, we shall now cross over to your end and take your...
Yeah, now I see that we're all colleagues and friends. Good morning, and thank you for accepting us. We are very happy to be here. And Mr. Minister and your team, thank you so much for this good story. It can only get better. I'm very happy. I've learned a lot, and I'd like to hope that so have many of you. Even those who put the story together, hopefully have also learned something else. Or maybe that's not the case. That's the case. That's good. So we are here, as the Chief of Staff has explained, so that we are all aligned. We are all on the same page. Maybe we are different lines of the page, but we are on the page anyway. You are at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. As the Chief has said, whether you are flying or swimming, you are part of the land. So whatever it is, we are in your hands. You affect life in very, very direct ways. And therefore, you deserve all the support you need to ensure that the good things we know we are capable of doing will get even better. You are also in charge of the environment as a result. So your portfolio is very big, but we have no doubt that you are up to the task. So our job is to encourage you, to congratulate you for what you've done so far, and to encourage you even to do more, and to let you know that we trust what you are doing, to assure you that we have your back. We are there to support you every step of the way. As the Chief has explained, it's good that we get the reports, but we are also thinking that it helps for us to come to you, to put some names to faces, to encourage you to think that, yes, we are always there for you. We are not in a distant place, receiving reports written by faceless people, but you are the people doing the work. And not only those of you who are here, I always want to insist, so many, many, many others who are not in this room, but who are part of the story, the success story that today we are sharing. I take note of the interventions you are making, the 5-pronged one, the number of football fields, 8,000 or so. I mean, it's difficult to imagine, but that's what it is. And so retrieving some of them is an important success story, and we want to encourage you to do even more. And in terms of reclamation or taking care of our environment, it is not only a moral imperative. We're talking about our survival. Okay. When you hear that a woman has gone through all the difficulty and has delivered a baby, in this shape is not a funny story. And this is not something we should be encouraging, for any reason. And even if you made the money, how are you going to translate the money into that kind of satisfaction? So setting up the teams is very, very important, and I want to commend you to do even more, that we are talking about our lives. It's not that I don't live in this area, but you will benefit from it, good or bad. So it is something that we should all be very, very interested in protecting our environment, is protecting ourselves. You made a comment about the importance of digitizing our material, and you made a comment about sometimes maybe the excuse is that the person has gone on maternity. You knew I'll talk about that.
I said, oh no, I should have used a better.
So I'll leave you. But okay, so I'll skip that one. Oh, I hear you were talking about paternity leave. Oh, even that. But I was going to make a plea that when we talk about the land banks, we remember the women. There are many women who want to farm, but who, for all kinds of reasons, don't even have access to land. So if we can reserve some of these land banks for them, they can also contribute their own capabilities to the economy. Thank you very much. So again, I just want to sum up by acknowledging the inputs you've made. Decentralizing is very important. Decentralization is not just a joke. That is what solves problems at the basic level, where the life begins. So yes, living in Accra is important, but that's not all there is. So sending the services to where the majority of us live is very, very important. So I want to commend that, that very, very important intervention, very, very important. And so, again, we want you to know that we'll support your initiatives from wherever we are. We will support you because we know you will succeed. So let me close by thanking you again for your presentation, for your efforts, for 1 year. You said, isn't it interesting that we found ourselves here? Yes. So it's happy birthday in a certain way. That we've come just 1 year. We wish you well, and your team too. Is it 16 agencies or so? Yes, everybody is part of it. We respect your input and we encourage you. You as the heads, your support staff, everyone. We want to thank them for what they've done so far, and we want to commend them to do even more. So Happy New Year to everyone, and thanks.
Thank you very much, Her Excellency. We are equally grateful, but to convey our gratitude, we shall listen now to the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, who give us the vote of thanks.
Thank you. Let me seek permission to also introduce a few of our colleagues who were not mentioned. And so we have in our midst here, Madam Victoria Awuni, Deputy CEO, Minerals Commission, Mr. Klu, Deputy CEO, Mineral Commission, and then my good friend Emmanuel Ayuba, also Deputy CEO, Minerals Commission. And we also have one of our hard-working colleagues, Josephine Bedu, Director Research and Statistics. And then we also have our Commerce Director.